The Nigerian Oil and Gas Conference and Exhibition has in the last 2 decades provided a unique platform for indigenous and international stakeholders of the energy industry to examine current issues and strategize for the future. Hello and welcome to the Local Content Television program. I am Priyafaka and I'm glad to have you join us. We bring you highlights of the Nigerian Oil and Gas Event 2021 edition that focuses on strategies that should be employed by government and private sector leaders to navigate the emerging business environment, helping to set the nation's energy agenda for the next 12 months and beyond. Keep watching.
The 20th edition of the internationally renowned Nigerian Oil and Gas Conference and Exhibition with the theme Fortifying the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry for Economic Stability and Growth among several initiatives of government is in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's recent commitment to the Decade of Gas Declaration from 2021 to 2030. The event was attended by local and international industry stakeholders from more than 25 countries, including top government functionaries, chief executives of indigenous and international oil companies, and other relevant stakeholders. The spotlight presentation was made by the representative of the Managing Director, Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG), Engineer Tony Attar.
To embark on a journey with a map, the first thing is to locate where you are. It is therefore important to situate Nigeria, which prides herself as the giant of Africa in the changing energy landscape. Our current position in this context is that we are the 8th most populous country in the world. 33% of our land is arable. The country is blessed with over 40 mineral resources of economic value. We are Africa's largest oil and gas exporter. We have Africa's largest gas reserves, but one of the lowest in consumption, a case of being gas-rich but energy-poor. Gladly, this narrative is about to change with the recent declaration and flag-off of the Decade of Gas agenda. With our current gas reserves, we are ranked 9th in the world. We could, however, potentially be the 4th, depending on how ambitious we want to be as a nation and the deliberate actions that we must take to actualize this ambition. Our reserve utilization, compared with top industry players like Australia and Indonesia, should challenge us to take action for more market share.
Keynote addresses were delivered by the Director, Department of Petroleum Resources DPR, Sariki Awalu, and the Group Managing Director, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC, Mele Kolokiare.
This industry is very challenged today. As we all know, investment has gone down 30%. So those outcomes will come up, will show up probably in the next 3, 4, 5 years, when we'll realize that the lack of investment of today will manifest in very practical sense in our inability to meet demand requirements of oil and gas in the industry. This will happen. So what the position we are taking as the national oil company and also as an industry in this country, that is to produce the quick oil. Quick oil means that we have to monetize every resources that is available today so that we create the resources that will create the future for our country and for our businesses. And the oil will provide that fulcrum for us to create the wealth. But one thing we're also sure is that gas is everything. No one has said correctly when peak gas will come. There are talks around 20 years, 30 years to come. It means that it's still far away, and it means that there's a space for us to operate.
Although economic diversification, which entails expansion of other sectors of our economy, is being driven by government, the oil and gas sector itself must look inward and leverage the potential for in-sector growth and expansion, geared towards in-country value addition. In-sector diversification is central to grow the industry from oil export-based industry to an integrated oil and gas industry economy, where the raw material mentally is replaced by in-country value. Addition to promote job creation, youth empowerment, poverty eradication, and infrastructure development will be realized. Granted, we acknowledge some modest gain recorded in this respect in terms of development of refineries, petrochemical, gas-based industry, and allied infrastructure. However, more is needed to be done.
In his address on the future of Nigeria's hydrocarbon sector and the global energy transition, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, Engineer Simbi Kasewabote, predicts a redistributed energy mix rather than an outright swap of one form of energy to another.
The outcome I see is the redistribution of the constituents in the energy mix rather than the outright swap of one form of energy to the other. As new forms of energy evolve, the degree of energy mix will vary across countries, regions, and continents. I believe that the technological capability and to some extent, the natural endowment of any country will ultimately determine the components of its energy mix. I don't think we will ever hear the last of energy transition as long as mankind is in existence. We are very innovative, inquisitive, and a genius of some kind. We replace trade by barter with cowries, then move to coins, then banknotes, then turn cashless, and there are still more to come. It is therefore important that as we continue to expand the opinions and source of energy available for our use, we keep our minds open to welcome new additions without discarding existing ones in a rush.
Speaking further, Engineer Wabote opined that the future of Nigeria's hydrocarbon industry is in gas.
As variously espoused by Mr. President and our Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources at various fora, the future of Nigerian hydrocarbon industry is in gas. Despite the huge reserves, the utilization is still relatively very low. Consequently, Nigerian daily gas production is estimated as 7.5 billion barrels per day. Even if we double this production, this will only utilize 5.5 TCF of our proven reserves every year. So do the maths, 206.5 TCF. And even if we continue, we will only utilize 5.5. Therefore, are we in a hurry to set aside this abundant natural resource that God has given us to look somewhere else? The answer to me is no.
Engineer Wabote then highlighted some of the NCDMB's gas development and utilization programs.
70% of our partnership investment programs are targeted towards gas development projects. In the last 2 years, we have commenced partnership to deliver gas value chain related projects as follows. Partnership with Nedo Gas Processing Company in Kwale Delta State for the establishment of 80 million scopes of gas processing plant and a 300 million scopes Kwale gas gathering hub. Partnership with Transcell Gas Limited for the construction of 5,000 metric tons LPG storage and loading terminal facility in Koko in Delta State. Partnership with DuPont Midstream for the construction of first energy park in Nigeria, inclusive of a modular refinery, power plant, and 400 million scf per day gas gathering facility at Igboko in Edo State. We're partnership with Brass Fertilizer for the development of 10,000 metric tons per day methanol plant and 350 million scf gas processing plant at Odiema in Brass. Partnership with Ron Gas Group for the manufacturing of 1.2 million composite LPG cylinders every year in Bayelsa and in Lagos State. Partnership with Butane Energy to deepen LPG utilization in the north with the rollout of LPG bottling plants and depots in 10 northern states and Abuja. There are other proposals in our project funnel under review for processing more than 1 billion standard cubic feet of inland gas projects.
The Honorary Conference Chairman, Mohammed Sanusi Barikindo, Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, delivered a keynote address titled Global Oil Market Dynamics in a Decarbonizing World.
When considering the scale of the energy transition, we must harness all available energies. The oil and gas industries have much to offer in this regard, including some of the world's most cutting-edge technologies and advanced innovations, which can all be leveraged to promote a lower carbon future. Achieving net zero emissions by 2050 is already a great challenge for advanced economies, some of whom have expressed their doubts about the reality of achieving this ambitious goal. And thus, for developing nations, it is even that much more daunting, particularly as they are occupied with ensuring their basic needs are met day in and day out. These important factors all point to the fact that an energy transition on such a massive scale and within such a short time frame will take time and patience to achieve, especially if it is done responsibly in an equitable and inclusive manner.
Addressing the gathering on behalf of the Vice President, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Temipri Silva, called on industry players to focus on gas as a transition fuel to the cleaner energy.
The critical assessment of our perspective on Nigeria's preparedness for oil and gas industry stability and growth in the wake of energy transition dynamics cannot be overemphasized. The future survival and success of many players in the industry will not only depend on their achieving greater focus on cleaner energy source, but also upon the ability to deliver low-cost solutions. You must have noticed that despite the current global challenges in the industry, the government has been supporting the aggressive implementation of the nationwide gas infrastructure blueprint. This informed our recent declaration of year 2021 to 2030 as the decade of gas, after the successful kickoff with the National Gas Expansion Program in 2020.
The Nigeria Oil and Gas Conference and Exhibition, NOG, is Nigeria's foremost oil and gas gathering that helps set the nation's energy agenda for the next 12 months and beyond.
And that's it from us this week. Thanks for watching. And remember, the ideal local content penetration is not achieved overnight, but is a continuous process that requires focus and determination to ensure its implementation. Your health is in your hands, so wash or sanitize them regularly. Please continue to observe physical distancing and wear a face mask in public places. Until next week, I am Priya Parker.